Now we're ready.
All right. Well, I want to welcome everyone, and I know that you're currently on mute, and we cannot see your picture. Here's the good news: at the end, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions via the chat. But I want to welcome you to the last sip and talk of the year. So we made it. And this is a very special sip and talk. It is an introduction to the JER HR group that I am so excited to be a part of. So today you're going to get to meet several members of the JER team, hear from myself as well, and just learn about the services that we're currently offering and how you're going to be introduced to a variety of different services into today, into 2023. So it is being recorded. You can take notes, but we are going to send this out to all the attendees and also just our client list as well. Again, thank you for taking this time. So excited for us to get started. And with that, I want to hand over to Mahesh Kumar. He is the Managing Director of the JER HR Group, and take it away.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thanks, Data. Good morning, everyone. I know your time is precious. I'm thankful for you guys are able to participate in this sip and talk. And I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the Managing Director of JER HR Group and Training Network. Functionally speaking, I am focused on operations side of the business. I do quite a few functions. I do the team management, all the HR issues and all the other operational issues. I manage the finance. That is a massive technology development that goes at the back end. I manage that. Product development for Training Network. And marketing for both JER HR Group and Training Network. I am also kind of like strategically focused. Strategically speaking, we are always trying to see where all our products can grow that will be appropriate for our clients, and also to see how we can expand our business, both from inorganic growth standpoint and from a balance sheet standpoint, and look at the product development from SaaS product standpoint. So there are multiple roles I play behind the scenes. I'm always reachable. You have my email and the contact number. So if you have any questions, you can always reach me. Then what I want to do is I want to go to the next slide and talk about our mission, vision, and values. You're seeing the mission, vision, and values of many companies. So I don't want to rattle off what is already there, but I want to talk about what it means for you as a client. So let's talk about the mission. Our mission is to be the best HR services firm, as simply put. What does that mean? That means we actually acquire, if there's an opportunity, the best possible HR firm. If it is a talent, we like to hire the best possible HR talent. That's very important because if you think about it, that is our differentiator. And so for us, that mission of providing the best HR services translates to acquiring the best talent that we can in whichever market we are in. Most of our experienced staff have more than 10 years experience. In fact, in JER, it used to be as an average 15 plus. So what that tells you is to be the best, we actually are having staff that are really experienced, bring a lot to the table. And so it's a very important attribute that we are proud of, that we really have talented people in our organization. Let's talk about vision. We say it's nationally recognized firm. That's our goal, right? What does that mean? Even though we want to be nationally recognized, we want to be locally focused in our core markets. Now, if we talk about South Carolina, that is our locally focused market. Even though we want to be nationally recognized, a part of us is also locally focused. There are 5 or 6 states we are very much locally focused, but our ability to provide consulting services to our clients who are not in the places where we are has allowed us to be nationally focused. So that has 2 components. One is that allows us to bring the best possible talent for each of our assignment. And also our people have seen a thing or two. So that actually helps us to provide the kind of services that our clients are expecting. So as we speak, we have clients who have sent the RFP from states that we do not have an office, like Texas and Wisconsin and so on and so forth. So what that means is they recognize our talent, they understand what we bring to the table. They really do not care too much about whether we have an office there or not. That's what we mean by being nationally recognized, because if you think about it, that's what we want to be, so that we can provide services to clients locally. With respect to you, actually nothing changes, right? Because actually nothing changes from one side. That's because we are locally there. And everyone who were in Willis HR or in JER, so there's no change. But there is a change in the sense we are able to offer more of our products and services. And so from that standpoint, we have expanded and we are different. But from a consulting standpoint, you're still going to see the same staff that you've seen all along. And so it's better in one way, it's going to be the same in another way. So that's the vision, which is to be nationally recognized, but we will be there for you in South Carolina. Let's talk about the values. We kind of, at least I kind of worship clients, because I know who pays our bills, and we are fully aware that you are our clients, and we need to make sure that we do the best we can for any project, because repeat clients is an important factor. We want to retain all our clients, and we track our retention. We do many things to say, okay, in fact, in the compensation services, we look at clients to look, have they not called us after a couple of years? Is that an issue? So we go and reach out. So we do factor in the retention, and we really value our clients. We talk about honesty, right? What do you mean by honesty? We are honest inside the organization. That's the only thing I know. That's the only language I speak. There may be a difference of opinion, which is legitimate and that is valid, but we speak honestly, both inside the organization and outside. With respect to our relationship with our clients, we are not penny pinchers. We are not trying to make the extra dollar at the cost of client. We are transparent. We tell you exactly what our services cost, and we stick to it. Whether it is high or low, we stick to it. And that is something that we offer every client we have: transparent pricing, no penny pinching. And we value our relationship, and it's something that we cherish, and that's something that we will continue to cherish. And that is our promise to you. So I wanted to take our mission, vision, and values and translate that to what it means for you from a day-to-day standpoint. So let's cover the next one, right? This is something that, in fact, this slide has been evolving for us in the last 1 year. What we have done strategically is to take our consulting services that we offer, and we have integrated with our product offering. If you think about it, so take an example of a performance management. As Sandy is going to talk about from an OD standpoint, we do many performance management projects. And that is to look at their internal offerings and the internal model and the performance management process. And now you come up with a solution. You want to implement that solution in a software, because the world has gone towards a software-based offering and product solutions. And in 2020, now that is a code word. SaaS products are the code word for organization digitizing their offering and their product and solutions, because their organization has changed. So our offering has also changed to take the consulting and the product together. So We do 200 plus projects. This year, we have already done 275. So there is a breadth and depth of our consulting offering that is from you take from an industry standpoint or a vertical standpoint that we have presence in many, many segments. If you take nonprofit, we actually take the nonprofit, we group them in three or four, actually 4 or 5 buckets, because if we just take the cultural institutions, we have been doing so many projects just on cultural institutions because we have gotten very good in what our offering is. And now we are taking that offering that we have for our clients from a consulting standpoint, and we are integrating that with the product being SaaS product that that Torin is going to talk about in detail. But from a SaaS standpoint, what we have as a human capital management technology solution is group them under 2 buckets: Trainery HCM, which is human capital management, and Trainery tracking, which is all the tracking related to your own organization. Our offerings on the technology piece is outstanding. That's the easiest word I can use. That's because we designed in a way that our clients will have the best possible product. Now, this integrated offering is to help us to offer both the consulting and our SaaS solutions. If we just take the LMS, we are unique in the sense we offer a great LMS with content. Torin is going to talk about it. So every example we can think of, our combined solution is something that's extremely attractive for our clients. So with that, I want to talk about the JER's history. So we really want to welcome you all to JER HR Group. I'm really, really happy. We want to do the best we can to make sure you continue to be our clients. We are slightly old. We are 35 plus years old. We have grown organically and inorganically. The reason why our experience matters is because the organization has learned over a period of time as to what it can offer and the issues and the problems that we have faced. So our organization is, first of all, stable, 35 plus years old. It's growing. If you take Johansson, it's almost 45 years, but for now we'll say 35 years. And we have built the stability and the economies of scale in our offering to our clients. Internally, we have been focused on many things to be operationally efficient and be a solution provider for our clients. And each merger has actually expanded our client base, improved our stability, and expanded our product offering. Originally started off as JER Associates. Over a period of time, we have changed, not changed direction. We have started expanding our product offering. Now we have 4 major consulting services groupings, and we have acquired few SaaS products. We have built few SaaS products now. We have a comprehensive set of human capital management solutions. So that's a very important piece, because when clients come to us, they have a problem or a situation and they want a solution. So our ability to look just beyond that one vertical or one particular situation has helped us to offer any solution. The history behind us has given us the stability, has given us the experience, and has given us a broad set of talent base, knowledge base, and clients and experience. And consultant is based on the experience he or she can share with the client. So from that standpoint, our history has expanded what we can offer our clients, made it stronger. And so today, our clients come for what we can offer. There are so many things I can talk about. In the interest of time, I'll just say this much. Our solutions in many areas was one of the best, even though we are a small consulting firm, we are a boutique consulting firm. Our offering is one of the best, and that's because we have really cherished our clients, cherished our knowledge based on talent, and that's what we offer. Let's talk about our national map. As I said before, we are pretty much in 40 plus states. And we say 35 states because we have done repeat projects for clients in majority of these US states. That's most of them are driven by our compensation and OD projects that has helped us to be nationally known. Our services for nonprofit is known nationally. So we have clients coming in from all over the country, not because of anything, it's because of the talent and the experience and what we offer. And so we are there nationally. It just happened. Some of the states are something that has happened, as we progressed in our consultant background and experience, word of mouth. Many of our projects are word of mouth, even though we spend a lot of time in marketing our services. Our biggest marketing tool has been our clients. That's because the word of mouth has helped us a lot. And that's part of our history. And that is how we have grown. Obviously, we don't spend time in California to market our services or Texas. They understand what we offer and they come to us. And so from that standpoint, we are pretty much there in many states. We haven't ventured into Alaska or some other states, but we are there. We are there in many states, and we can offer. So it's both like, we call it national, but solve locally. And that's exactly what we do in many areas. So we're proud of our fact that we are all over the country successfully growing, but we are also there locally, especially in South Carolina, North Carolina, New York area, and in Arkansas and other states. So if we go to the next slide, I want to talk about a little bit more because I'm going to hand off after this slide to others, right? It's as I mentioned before, we have been integrating our insight to what we call as an insight is our consulting services, to tools is what we offer from SaaS product standpoint. And what we do from a consulting standpoint is we have grouped our services into 4 major buckets. Compensation services. The compensation services is something that Larry is going to talk about in a few minutes. It's been there for 30 plus years. And the Learning Hub. The Learning Hub is a concept we have come up with over a period of time to go to a client and offer a solution that can be both, a learning that can be a training program, to a learning that can be an online program, to a training that involves technology solutions. So whatever the needs of the client or that organization is, we can offer pretty much anything. That's because of our technology and the tools and the consulting services we can combine. So Sandy is going to talk about the learning offering and the OD offering we have. Now that's one part of it, that's a consulting. So if you need a technological solution, then these two can be combined. And that has been our goal. And that's what we mean by from insight to tools. And the organizational development is largely consulting based. And HR services is something that what Willis HR offer, and what we are planning to do in the next quarter or two is to expand our portal offering. So our offering by the end of first quarter and more so in the second quarter is going to make our HR portal a very competitive offering, and something that you're going to like it because the tools we offer there is going to be an integral part of our HR services. And so we provide the HR consulting services and we combine that with the tools. So, so this can be an end-to-end solution for our clients. So with that, I will end with the following, right? I know I'm right on time. I'll end with the following. Our goal is for you all to think of us first, if you have a need for any product or services. We want to be in your list of firms that you're looking for if there is a problem or a solution you need. Of course, we want to be the best in the services that we offer. We will be the best, and that is our goal. We're going to provide such a great service. Year from now, you're going to say, JER is better than Willis HR. I'm sorry, Jada.
Sorry, I wasn't on mute. I just
on that optimistic note, I'll ask Jada to continue the presentation.
all right. And so that was well said, Mahesh. And I've been positioning this in the way of, this is such a great opportunity. We were doing some really great things, and you all on the call can attest to that. But we had the opportunity to just sync our lines with JER Group and Mahesh, and now there's such an opportunity to expand, and we are expanding our services and our ability to provide just the very best to clients, in which in some cases we weren't able to even meet that need, and now we're able to. But my name is Jada Willis. I am formerly known as the CEO of Willis HR, and how I am contributing to the JER HR Group is the People Strategy Advisor. And what that really entails is I want to leverage my HR expertise and ultimately just building of a consulting firm. And I've come to love and learn about, really client needs. And what that factors into is business development and client relationships. Mahesh talked about client retention. And being the very best, that means that it's making sure that we're doing what we say we're going to do, and just making sure that we are offering those expanded services. And so I'm eager to be the boots on the ground here in South Carolina, and really just spearhead the prospective client introductory process, present at local and even national conferences, workshops. Mahesh has already learned that I love to talk, so he doesn't mind that at all. And really leading the proposal process, the service agreement process. But one thing I also value in regards to Mahesh and the group is that what we're doing is, hey, there's some really great things at Willis HR. There's great things at JER. We're combining to make this bigger, better, faster, stronger, entity. So we really are that true, all-encompassing, all-encompassing HR service. So again, I want to continue focusing on just that overarching client relationship. And so if you have any questions at all, or feedback along this process, and as we continue to evolve, then I urge you to reach out to me. All of you have my personal cell. I'm big on text and call, but feel free to email me. Even the previous email is routing over to JER, and no question is too small. And the best thing that I've learned is that this group, the JER group, they're so open. Our group, we're learning and acclimating, but they are so open with the level of patience and even the questions. But also, I love the fact that we really do have a strong talent base from the Willis HR team. You all love the consultants and the team that we have. But what's really neat is the fact that we are meeting the JER team members, and they have complementary skill sets. So we really have expanded that talent base, as Mahesh alluded to. So I won't take any more talking about myself. So how about we move over to the next slide, and I just revisit and refresh the HR services. Now, these are the pieces that we also have been providing. But one thing that is really exciting is that, we only had a team of so many. So whenever there was a large project, there wasn't an opportunity to have, a larger team to work on that said project. So now we can fulfill that need. Also from a talent perspective, I've always told you all, don't call me when it comes to compensation. I'm going to talk through the process, but guess what? We have a great team at Willis HR, and they have a fantastic team from a compensation perspective. I won't get into that, but that's one example of how, you have your consultant, and they are just phenomenal, but at the same point in time, you can't know every facet of human resources, be an expert. That's why we have this larger team where we can tap on additional knowledge and folks that are passionate about those other areas that, your consultant may not be able to. So just high level conducting, and we will continue to do this as well from a monthly reoccurring package perspective, from a project perspective, HR audits, 90 days to HR health is still there. We want to make sure that we're focused on compliance and culture for our small businesses and nonprofits as well. Of course, our employee handbooks, and we just have some gurus on the team. This is a big shout out to Des that really handles and spearheads our employee handbook revamp process and updates. Of course, there's a bigger focus also on regulatory compliance. One thing in having a smaller team is that it can be difficult to keep up if it's beyond South Carolina with some of the legal updates. And one thing that I'm continue to be excited about is the fact that with the JER team, now again, we're all focused on, and we have the resources to stay up to date with, honestly, across the country. So what that does is helps us be at the forefront of all of the HR questions, issues, and tackling them before it becomes an actual issue for your organization. From an investigative perspective, so we can do this as a part of our monthly, ongoing services, or we are taking other projects as well. And we've been tagged in quite frequently, and we partner with several law firms as well that have really just leaned on us from the investigative services. But one example of how this is just such a win is the fact of if it's an investigation, I mean, if you all have been a part of it, it's time consuming, and we need experts in this area, but multiple. And so again, this expands our area of reach and opportunity to fulfill the need and also to do it faster, right? So we can do it in real time of the services. And then guess what? We still are offering recruiting services. And again, finding those talent. Everyone feels the pain of the labor market and continual changes. Well, these are still the services that are going to help you from an organizational standpoint, but even, your neighbors, your partners, your friends. And speaking of, if you know any folks that you feel like would benefit from a HR services, HR consult, you know who to send them to. And that's myself, Jada Willis. So thank you for just giving the time and opportunity to learn more about us and even what I'm doing, and then also the JER HR group. But I'm limiting my time because I want to defer to these exciting and awesome people that I've come to really enjoy. So I'm going to hand it over, and we're going to transition to the next slide.
Hi, everybody. I'm Larry Beers, the Director of Consulting for JER HR Group in the compensation practice. I work out of the New York office, and I've been with the firm since 1995. So a great deal of experience working across all sorts of clients, mostly with not-for-profits, but certainly across the board in all industry sectors. As Mahesh mentioned, we're currently recently focused on cultural and performing arts. But we also have a lot of human service organizations and agencies, just a whole array of organizations that we work with. I take the lead in managing all the compensation studies, primarily with the New York based clients, but also we do have a lot that are national in scope. As Mahesh mentioned earlier, we do have a national footprint, and when we do have local clients, we work very closely with them to identify what some of the parameters are for filtering data to make sure that we are addressing the local labor market, that we are making geographic adjustments as necessary in cost of labor, trying to understand what some of the local economic forces are, and all of that. I work to develop new clients, developing the proposals, make sure that we have good client interface, that we're all communicating well and frequently, making sure that the work is up to snuff, that everything has my stamp of approval on it before it goes out the door. Certainly making sure that the data resources are kept current. So, as we age out of some surveys, making sure that we have others that we're bringing in to keep us current. And that we are, again, investing in our ability to provide the best possible service to our clients. As part of that, of course, I have to monitor and research the trends that are going on, understanding where are we now with the average salary increase budget? What are the projections for the coming year? It's been such a dynamic year in terms of how wage inflation relates to cost of living inflation. And of course, we see that that is not really kept up to date, but I have to monitor all of that so that I'm able to advise clients and have my team advise clients about all of this information. It's important to know that I am just one face of compensation. And that, again, out of the New York office, we also have the Johanssons in Arkansas and their group. While we specialized in not-for-profits, they specialize in public sector. And so and health services and other and for-profit entities. So between all of us, we have quite a lot of experience in providing services that can help ensure that we are meeting your needs. And so as inquiries come in, we take a look and see who is the best qualified group to handle this, who has the right level of experience, has the right contacts, the right references, and all of that. So between all of us, we have a very strong comp team. Some of the services that we provide, again, executive compensation, particularly in not-for-profits where intermediate sanctions regulations apply. Those are governed by the IRS, and we have to help organizations ensure that they meet the standard of reasonableness in providing executive compensation. But we also do a lot of staff surveys. As the previous slide mentioned, I've personally worked on hundreds, if not thousands, of surveys over the year for staff. And that incorporates a lot of different aspects. It includes taking a look at the job descriptions, making sure that we have a good understanding of job content. We don't match on job title because that can vary so much from company to company, from survey to survey. So we dig into what the actual responsibilities of the job are, make sure that we have an understanding of those, of the qualifications, and then match those to the market. We also take a look at helping in staff job evaluations, identifying how jobs relate internally and what their internal value may be, and coming up with job grades. We have a couple of different systems for doing that. We're working now with Arkansas to on the Comp Builder platform, which is an automated system that has 15 different factors that can be used to evaluate jobs. It's been reviewed and it stands up in court. So we are working toward applying that across the compensation platform and hoping to get that in place in the next within the next couple of quarters. We do custom compensation surveys, usually in cases where organizations have a very specifically defined market, and they want to say, we want to know really what these organizations within our sector are providing. So we really are able to adapt those to reflect specific positions. We can also layer in information about pay practices and about benefits so that we get the bigger bang for the buck. And that really is something that is very valuable. And both Johansson's and our group use various platforms to be able to gather that information. It's all online. We do provide participants with a summary report, so there's a great deal of value to what we offer. And it really provides that greater level of assurance that we are finding exactly current to up-to-date market information that specifically relates to the positions that are looked at within a specific organization. And then, of course, comp management, making sure that, how does your comp plan align with your mission and values? We want to be sure that everybody, organizations are paying what they should be paying, that they adapt and adopt a compensation philosophy. We have a number of organizations that would like to be at market. They know they can't be there just yet. We work with them to build a strategy and get them there over time, but helping them to understand where they are currently positioned and then working with them to identify how they can move toward that over time. There are a lot of related services that get into that, again, building the salary structure, looking at implementation cost analysis, seeing what the gap is between where you are currently and where your salary ranges actually are, building into that comp ratio analysis so you can see where individuals are positioned within their ranges based on their tenure and where they should be. So we can work with you on those types of things. We also work on career pathing, helping to map the career paths that might be available within your organization, either by specific job families where that is an issue, or just generally across the organization. So there are a lot of different things. We also have done pay equity analyses, and I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind at this point, that there is such a focus on internal pay equity, making sure that you're not discriminating in your pay practices, and helping to review that for you, and making recommendations to eliminate any non-job related factors from those differences. So that in a nutshell is the other thing, of course, is pay transparency. That's another big issue that we're dealing with in the current market, and helping organizations to determine what the right level of pay transparency is for their organization. It really depends on a number of factors, but we work in concert with the client organization to be sure that we have an understanding of their culture, where they are currently, where they would like to be, and the kinds of steps we can take along the line. As part of that, we do offer a lot of support in developing client presentations, working to present to staff, making sure they have a good understanding of the basis for the comp program, what went into it, what the results were in summary, and then what this means moving forward. So it really does help to address take the questions out of it, and really helps build staff comfort in the compensation products. So that's really in a nutshell for what we do in the compensation side of things. I'll turn it over to our next presenter.
Thank you, Larry. I'm Sandy Bateman, and before I get started, I just want to say to everyone on this webinar, we do want to hear from you. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to put them in chat or the Q&A. We're watching that. And after we've gone through our presentations, we will address those. Sometimes we're going through so much material. Jot it down so you don't forget that if there's something you wanted to ask us about. We certainly want to hear from you. So as Director of Organizational Development and Learning, I work with our affiliates who provide the services in that area. My background is in education as well as in consulting. I have been in consulting since 2007, and before that spent about 20 years in the public sector in adult training within that organization, and before that in public schools as a science educator. I am certified by the ATD organization. Those of you who know SHRM, ATD is the comparable certification entity on the OD and learning and development side. So just as they had to study and pass an exam, I did as well. So I keep that up for the same reason that the SHRM people do as well. But it certainly keeps us in touch with best practices and keeps us current in what we're delivering. As oversight of the organizational development function, my goal is to make sure that when we deliver services to you, that we're delivering consistent quality across all of our consultants, that it's meeting your needs, and that it's within budget. So that is one of my big roles, is to work with our consultants to make sure we do that, to advise, to suggest best practices, and to keep that team working as a group. And so we have an OD forum that gets together regularly and talks about these things. And those of you at the Willis group, I welcome you to this team. we are looking forward to working with you. And I look forward to getting to talk with you more about how we can leverage one another and grow your capacity, within the OD and the learning and development field. We also are a distributor of behavioral assessments from the Wiley Publishing Group. You may be familiar with the DISC, everything DISC model. That's one that we particularly enjoy because it is easy to understand and it is very well adapted for most of our developmental needs. And it's the core of development, whether we're doing coaching, leadership, executive, team building. There's always a tool in there because I think you need to understand yourself, then understand where others are coming from. Then you are better able to make those connections that are critical. We also use a selection tool called PXT Select that's used in the recruiting process when you're down to the point where you're ready to select. It's an excellent tool and has been proven to be accepted through the courts as well because it focuses on the job, not a personality or a behavior. And that's essential. So that is something that I work with and help us within the organization. I'm certified in all of those products. In terms of communicating, if you are working with one of our consultants, certainly the lead consultant's always your first line of communication. I would be the second. And then if they're finance questions in terms of invoicing, then that's a communication link that's provided here. And in the follow-up email, I think Brenda's going to make sure you have a good list of links and communications as you need them. So OD, what does it cover? Lots of things. And it's a good example. I'll start at the bottom here and go up. This is where Larry and I and the Johansons in Arkansas will often partner. We'll begin to work with a client on compensation. And then the question comes up, how do we make sure that what we're compensating is pertinent to how the individual's performing? So then we begin to talk about how do we link the two? Do we link the two? What's the latest trends? Then we will get involved and partner with whoever's working on that compensation piece. And it ultimately, it brings us to look at the performance management process, the tools. That may lead to looking at how well are the managers at coaching on performance? Do they need help in goal setting? And we get involved in all of those areas in the performance management piece, as well as in talent development. When we start looking at individual development plans, what does a succession plan look like within an organization? How can we set that up? We work with competency models with some organizations who may not have well-defined competencies in the organization. The DEI&B, we certainly look forward to working with Willis individuals who've been particularly interested in that area and been very active. And we certainly will welcome you into JER to provide that service, because that is one that's very, very important to us. Many of our clients are interested in not only the diversity and inclusion, but the piece that's called belonging, which is really something in the last couple of years has become critical. And that's all a part of developing a culture of belonging within an organization. We also do employee engagement studies. And from those employee engagement studies, then do very comprehensive either focus groups, plus summary reports, and even to the point of analyzing content from open-ended questions. And then what does that mean to the organization, and make suggestions. And then we get up into the management executive coaching. We have many people who are on our staff or our affiliates who provide coaching. And we have several organizations for whom we are providing coaching as part of their leadership tier. And then leadership and executive development programs. We have some basic modules, but we quite often will steer this to the organization as well. So that is our programs in general. And I see Jada has made one comment. She said, keep in mind, if you have monthly HR hours, your hours can be used for any of these services. And that's the way we work with what we call partnerships in JER HR Group. And that term will eventually become HR services. So it's the same mindset. As Jada said, she's finding we all think alike. All right, I'm going to invite Torin to tell us about the trainery piece.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you for your time. What I'll be discussing today is our suite of SaaS products. For those that might not be familiar, SaaS, the good old acronym for Software as a Service. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Training Network division of JER HR Group and touch briefly on some of the different products that we offer. In the essence of saving time, I'm not going to go into a tremendous amount of detail on the different softwares. For those on the call that may be interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out to us directly or to Jada. I know there will be an email going out after this call to everyone that's on the call. I'd love to discuss those products with you in further detail should there be some interest. So a little bit about myself. I've been in the world of sales for over 25 years. I started with the Training Network back in 2008. As I said, I am the sales manager here. However, I do also maintain an active role as a sales representative. So some of the challenges that you may be facing in the marketplace as it relates to training and things of that nature, I'm very familiar with. We do represent a lot of different trade shows around the country. Myself and one of our other representatives, Mr. Matt Cross, do go to a lot of these different trade shows. And my role here is really just to help drive the revenue, train our sales team, and make sure that we are staying in touch with our customer needs and fulfilling those needs through our software suite. A little background on the company. Training Network was established back in 1981. Obviously, the business has morphed since then a little bit, and I'll get into some of that detail. But we do work with over 20 different producers of training content in the market, very well known in the arena of safety and compliance. I'm sure that most of the people on this call, the relationships with Willis have been in the world of human resources and HCM. The Training Network's history is more in line with safety and compliance. However, we have pivoted in recent years to include a lot more training options and software for the world of human resources, which we'll get into momentarily as well. Our customer base is wide and varied. We serve just about every industry segment that you could imagine. And if we want to flip the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Training Network history. One of the first companies in the country to make OSHA and safety compliance videos, which really established us as the market leader. A lot of market changes. We pivoted to keep up with different demand from our customer base. And over time, we stopped being so much of a video producer and became more of a distributor of those products. One of the benefits of doing that is enabled us to offer a lot more content and one of the largest video libraries available to the market, which in turn helped us maintain and target as the sole source provider for our customers as it relates to their training needs, their video-based training needs. Back in 2018, JER acquired the Training Network. Once again, to help us keep up with the changing market conditions. We still maintain one of the largest libraries for compliance videos, but this is kind of the point where we expanded our suite of products to include a lot more HCM videos and courses. We forged a lot of new alliances with different producers, and we rebranded our suite of products under the Trainery brand. And you'll see Trainery throughout some of these presentations as well. Through a lot of investments in infrastructure, different acquisitions that Mahesh touched on earlier, and consistent and ongoing software development. We've launched a lot of other offerings that enable us to cover just about every vertical in the market and become a one-stop shop, really, for virtually all SaaS, HCM, and training that almost any organization could need. What I'm going to do now is pivot a little bit and talk about some of our flagship products. First of which being our Trainery LMS. For those that aren't familiar with an LMS, that is an acronym for a learning management system. It's essentially designed for any size organization to deliver interactive computer-based training. Another acronym you might hear is CBT. Software can be used as a standalone product if an organization has your own training content and you're looking for a way to deliver that content, we can certainly provide the software and you can use your own content on that software. We also can provide that content. With over 2,500 different courses, it can cover just about anything that you would possibly need. Through full implementation, content including the software, any requirement that you might have for training, be it for human resources, be it for safety, be it for compliance, can all be met. The system has very in-depth tracking. It also has standard notifications built in, which can, if you want, be customized. And essentially, you can manage all of your compliance training in one convenient place. Everything you would need on the Trainery LMS. I could go on for about an hour on this product, but in the essence of saving time, those are the basic bullet points. Again, if you have further questions after the presentations, please feel free to reach out. I'm going to move on now and discuss our Streamery product. It's a very user-friendly basic system to deliver video on demand. An acronym I like to give people to bring it into focus is think of Netflix for safety and compliance videos. With a paid subscription, a customer has access to over 800 different videos, again, covering safety, human resources. There are some topics there, which we'll get to momentarily, on diversity and inclusion. Again, a very large variety of videos with no limitations on usage. It's really perfect for any organization that wants to continue to conduct their training in an instructor or proctor-led type setting, as opposed to computer-based training like Trainery LMS is. It's very budget-friendly, it's very easy to use, and it is one of our most popular products. People love it and continue to love it. And as the brand grows, we continue to add content, so it always stays up to date as far as current regulations and current needs. So if we want to transition over to the next slide, again, quick 10,000-foot overview of the SaaS solutions, covering everything from Trainery HCM to Trainery Track. The Trainery LMS and the Streamery piece, which I just discussed, is primarily for the training of employees, helping engage the learners, close training gaps, basically deliver the results that you need to streamline everything training from beginning to end. And then Streamery, obviously, delivering those videos cross-device, works on mobile phones, works on tablets, works on smart TVs. A great solution for anybody looking to do group training. Next product you'll see here is Review Cloud. It's a software basically that would automate employee reviews so that managers and employers can focus on quality feedback and accountability. This is almost like to piggyback some of the consulting services that are offered by the other divisions of JER. However, this is software-based. So to continue doing those type of employee reviews in a virtual world, as opposed to a consultative world, this is something you could use in conjunction with any of the consulting services. Comp Builder, same basic scenario. I believe Larry touched on that earlier from a compensation services standpoint. It's simply a software to help organizations continue that simplifying of the process, creating job descriptions, making payroll decisions and things of that nature. But again, software-based as opposed to consultative in person. And then we get into Trainery Track, which is basically software designed to help every company stay on top of any of their training, be it environmental health and safety, be it HR, be it certifications or licensing, helping companies reduce their operational risk. Essentially, it is a repository for everything that you could possibly need to document and track any internal or external training that an organization is doing. With API, it can tie into some of our other product sets, such as the Trainery LMS or the Streamery. So any customers that want to do training online, yet track it in the track safety software, have the ability to do so, and it ties in seamlessly. And then, I'm sorry, it sounds like a question. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to link this up and kind of tie it back to even HR services. So from a Trainery perspective, I started playing around in the system. And one thing I thought that was really, really neat is that you can actually, any client can actually build their own learning management process where someone checks off. What that means is, so if everyone has a different onboarding process, right, an onboarding checklist that probably your HR consultant has developed, now it's actually a streamlined process where you can check off, ensure that the user, the new hire, has completed the training, has completed the task, and it's all very seamless as a part of Trainery. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, that is one of the big selling points of utilizing an LMS, being able to customize an onboarding program or a compliance program. The content can be customized and set up in a manner that meets any organization's specific needs. As we all know, different organizations have different needs for onboarding. And it is completely customizable. So any training manager would be able to set up queues and track the learning and the development of those employees through the system, which is essentially what an LMS is designed to do, right? So yes, thank you for adding that piece in there. If we want to skip over to the next slide, just a quick screenshot of some of the different dashboards of the product set. Again, I could spend hours going into this, given our time limitations today, just to point out the different dashboards for Trainery LMS and Streamery, Review Cloud, and Comp Builder. All of the information that you could need to gather on these can be viewed very quickly at a dashboard level without having to drill down. However, obviously, the ability to drill down is there. Tracking of the training with Trainery LMS is one of the most important selling points of an LMS. A lot of customers still train their employees and keep paper records, file cabinets with employee files. A lot of you may or may not have heard of the term digital transformation. Okay, this is one way to help your company transition into the digital world, which would allow you to save massive amounts of time from an administrative standpoint, but also from a tracking standpoint. It's a lot easier to be able to access the software and pinpoint the documents that you need when you need them, as opposed to taking a walk into the back office, into the giant file cabinet and finding Mr. Jones's employee file and fumbling through 5 years of training documents, which a lot of companies still do that. So, you know, the Trainery LMS is designed to help those organizations get and stay organized and make sure that they are staying in compliance with everything regulatory. Again, whether it is HR or safety or OSHA compliance, which a lot of organizations have issues with.
I see a hand. Sandy.
That's mine.
Hi,
Yep.
Sandy.
Hi, I just wanted to say that we do work together with Trainery as well. When we look at an OD situation and a client to deliver learning and development for them, we look at the bigger piece. So many times a client will come to us and they want training on XYZ. And so our question is, what's happened beforehand? So we want to do a current state analysis. What are the needs? What's the culture like? And training is not a one-time deal. You don't train and that's it, and everybody automatically becomes perfect. So that ongoing refresher and applications and tracking is the critical piece that Trainery and Streamery bring to the organizations as a possibility. So we like to work with clients to say, yes, we can do this, but maybe in between sessions, we also have people look at these videos or do this activity. Same with Review Cloud. The performance management is moving away from once a year performance management. It's more, let's do ongoing feedback, and something like an automated online service like Review Cloud is perfect for that. So we often will work with clients as well, so that we not only are looking at their performance management, their form themselves, the software, the process, but the tool that they're using. And so we look at the two. We're not totally separate. We try to leverage, as Mahesh said earlier, look at the insights that we can bring and the tools that we can leverage with those insights.
Absolutely. Valid point. And thank you for adding that. In fact, if you want to move to the next slide, this can kind of tie into something that Sandy just said about ongoing training. We maintain over 2,500 different videos and e-learning courses. Be advised, it's not 100% video based. There is a large segment of these that are e-learning interactive courses. ready to go content. It can be installed on third-party training platforms. SharePoint's intranet, a lot of organizations already have the ability to deliver content, but they need the content. So the courses are available individually or as bundles or catalogs, as we would call it. And the reality is that if there is a need for any type of content, the chances are we've got it. Because of the size of the library and the amount of different production companies that we work with, the content can remain fresh. Going back to something Sandy said, training is an ongoing thing. It is not a once a year type thing. It is not a once every few year type thing. And employees like to be trained using different content. So because of the size of the library, it allows them to continue their education, continue their employee development, utilizing different courses, though they may be the same topics. And if you want to take a glance on the spreadsheet of some of the different topics that are offered, we didn't want to go and list everything. We'd be going through 5 different pages of different topics. But again, anybody that has any interest in exploring some of this a little bit further, I'd be more than happy to take some time and go over anything and do a basic needs assessment. One of the things that we pride ourselves on at Training Network and JER is getting to know our customer and getting to know what our customer needs are. Being able to provide a solution is only half the challenge. It's being able to provide the appropriate solution. And through our set of SaaS products and our content library, more often than not, we are able to customize a course library that meets those needs and helps make sure that the customer is in line and doing what they need to do from a training perspective, as well as streamlining their organization and helping them maximize their time and making those employees more productive because they're spending less time on the things that aren't necessarily part of the job.
All right. Let's pause right there, Torin, for a question in the Q&A. Is that all right?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So Christy said, asking from the client perspective, if we have a current client who's billed 12 hours a month, do they have access to these tools for their training or just via Dropbox? Or would they pay additional for the access?
They would need to pay additional for the access. Each client has a customized curated portal that we've set up based on what their needs are, obviously after some discovery. And the short answer is yes, it would be an additional cost. How much would be dependent on the customer needs. As Mahesh mentioned earlier, we're very transparent with our pricing, but each customer's portal is set up individually and specifically to their needs. So very different from the aspect of how much that would cost. Are we talking about, a 25 employee organization, or are we talking about a multinational enterprise level customer?
All right. I think that provides good perspective. Is there anything else to add to that?
I don't believe. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say one thing, Jada, we do with our partnerships is when they have hours and they may be able to transition some of those hours into some customized training, or, we do within the consulting side, we do face-to-face and we also do virtual training. And depending on what the pay rate is for those hours and the pay rate for the training, we can look at ways that we could perhaps leverage something that they already have in place and see what kind of service can be provided. So while it may not be a subscription to training or streaming, there may be some one-by-one offerings that we could support.
Can I add some color to it? One of the things that we're planning for 2023 is the existing clients, if they want to build a relationship with us at a higher level, maybe they go to the next level of partnership or a subscription model where, let's say at the end of the day, it boils down to a very simple math, right? For a client XYZ to have any one of those SaaS products, the portion of that could be used for the SaaS product. So if you take that to an extent, let me put it simply, Torin needs to be paid for the services that he's rendering. So from that standpoint, we take it from the top line, we give it to Torin. So what Torin is reflecting is training network needs to be paid, because if you take LMS as an example, we pay the content providers the royalty. So from the money that we get from whichever bucket that's coming in from, training network pays royalty to the producer. So from that standpoint, the money should reflect in the training network's books so that they can pay the producers, because it is all electronically tracked. To answer this from a different perspective, Christy, it's very simple. If the clients had subscribed for a level because of what Willis HR had provided as services, today, if that is equal to this, today we are providing this. So, so the services we offer are that many. So it is an opportunity for clients to say, you know what, it is a great thing for us to really have our subscription model modified, expanded, so we can use the services for not just HR consulting, but for, say, compensation or for, say, LMS. So from that standpoint, a client XYZ next month has some compensation related job analysis and market pricing required. So if you take that dollar amount, we can use the dollar amount for the compensation services, because that is the flavor of the month from a client perspective. So the month 2 could be something else. So they could use the dollar in any way they want, but the dollar is a fixed dollar, right? So if you increase the dollar, then you can spend it on more activities.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. If anyone else has any other questions, continue as we're going along to add those to the Q&A so we can get those answered. Feel free to add feedback, comments. No question is a silly question. All right.
I think we should move on to Brenda if there are no additional questions. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Hi, I'm Brenda Thompson. My role is Director of Operations. I'm located in the Greensboro, North Carolina office. And in addition to being part of the great operations team that keeps the company communicating and running smoothly, my other responsibilities are writing proposals for all verticals, including government proposals in response to RFPs or requests for proposal, writing service agreements, helping to resolve client issues, serving as project manager for some HR services projects, and supporting the finance function. So even though I can't see you, it's nice to meet all of you, and I look forward to getting to know you all better in the near future. I'd also like to briefly review our communication process. As has been already said, don't worry about trying to write this down. We will send this information to you in a follow-up to the webinar. So one of the most important things you'll need to know as we continue to serve you is, who do you call when you have an issue or a request for services? As has always been the case, you'll call your assigned primary consultant first. They will, of course, be able to help you with any requests for assistance or to discuss current or future projects. If for some reason you're not able to reach your primary consultant, or if there's an issue that your consultant can't resolve, please feel free to contact me for now. My email is listed here. Other resources at your disposal are our support email anytime you have questions or technical issues with any of our products or services, and our finance email for any questions or issues related to invoices and payments. One important step that you can take to make sure invoice and finance emails are flowing properly between you and us is to whitelist those two emails that do not reply at iq.bigtime.net and finance@jerhrgroup.com. As I said, we'll send that information to you in an email. So if you're not sure how to whitelist even, you're welcome to email us at the support email. So any questions for me or about operations in general?
Listen, that's the fun stuff you get to handle, Brenda, all the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I want to make sure we are being respectful for time. We do have several minutes to answer any questions, But before we even go forward in that, this is a reminder that we are having a client appreciation party on January 12th. That's a Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. You will receive an invite after the holiday, after Christmas. And it's at Siebel's house. We're so excited about it. And I think it's a great opportunity to just have that in-person feel and presence. I'm so thankful we can do in person. And it's just an opportunity also to meet some of these team members, as well as the Willis HR rock stars as well. And so I'm hoping that you all will come out. And with that, let's open it up with any other questions, comments, feedback.
Can we unmute people and let them ask the questions?
I think that's a great thought.
It may take a minute to do that.
In the interim, please put it in chat or QA, and we're all watching it.
All right. Yeah, I'm starting to see folks populate as well. Neat on this side. So just again, a little bit more on next steps. So this was the high level introduction, but we will be having those individual product demos, as well as just more webinars in regards to or really just interactive sessions, so that you can have those one-on-ones to learn about specific services as well. And we're looking at January and into Q1. Just so it's a resource to you. But if you have questions and you know what, you just can't wait for that webinar, please reach out, because we can do that one-on-one or customize it to your organization. All right. I think as folks are flowing in.
Well, I tried to get everybody, but if anybody isn't allowed to talk, just put it in the chat and I'll fix it.
Hey, is
Very
the chat enabled?
The Q&A.
Oh, the Q&A, sorry.
Is
Okay.
the chat? So Brenda, is the chat disabled or enabled? Is it anybody can type the chat? Or is it technically it's okay?
Let's see.
The Q&A is enabled, so anyone can drop in their questions there.
Okay, I think I fixed the chat too.
All right. All right. I know it's a lot of information to digest, but I want to give an extra thank you to the Willis HR team. It's never easy going through change, right? It's never easy going through transition, even whenever it's really good change. So big shout out and thank you to the Willis HR team, as we are learning all about the JER HR group ways. And then I'm so thankful that I have had the opportunity to do one-on-ones with these folks that you've had the opportunity to meet, and a few others. And the one thing I can say is that they live up to the values that was shared. And in addition to that, I just feel like I can ask any one of these folks any question I want, and they know I'm not shy, and have done so. So I just want us to continue to build our rapport, and I'm excited that we can do that meet and greet in January too.
Jada, I think we're going to share the PowerPoint, or at least a PDF of this, right? so they'll have that information. And some people have said, thanks for the information. And I just say, if you feel like you want to pursue any of us any further, particularly any of the Willis people, any of the staff or consultants,
Sure.
feel free to reach out to us.
All right. And thank you so much, all of you, for taking this time from your day, even in the holiday season. We value you. I'm echoing what Mahesh has already said. We cherish this relationship. I'm so thankful that you've chosen Willis HR. And then I'm so thankful that now you're giving us an opportunity to even expand our service offerings under the JER umbrella and just continue the great work that we're doing. So thanks again. Looking forward to all the next steps, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.